Hi, this is Daniela, and today we're going to be doing part 3 of learning Blender and creating this beautiful house. So what I'm doing right now is just using the middle mouse button and pressing A to remove everything in the scene, and Shift A to add the shape that we want, which is a cube. So you press Shift A and you add a cube. Then shift middle mouse to just pan around. You can easily just zoom in and out by scrolling the wheel and go at the top there from object mode. You can either change it to edit mode or whatever you'd need, or by pressing tab. It's like a shortcut to do that. So there's sculpt mode, vertex paint, weight paint, texture paint, etc. So like I said, just shift and hold the middle mouse button to just pan around the scene. And in edit mode, you will be able to see the vertex, the points on each edge. And then you can change if you want to select the faces or the edge, etc. As you can see, now we're selecting the faces instead of the edges. And Shift R is just to cut in the middle. You can just drag it along. Select the one side and, well, delete it, but I made a mistake. So what you're actually going to have to do is press Ctrl Z to get it back. And then yes, I just selected each corner and deleted that by holding Shift and then deleting the vertices. You could then add a modifier if you wish to do so and mirror that on. So each time you move the vertex on one side, it will automatically mirror what you do on the other side, as you can see. And if you grab it, the one side, and pull it away from each other, you can see how it reacts. So now that we have the clipping in place, we're able to pull in any side as far as we want, and the object stays together. So it's actually clipped down together and joined into one object. So I just press the numpad 1, shift, right click on the mouse, and just grabbing the vertices at the top up to kind of already create our house. As you can see, it didn't grab both vertices, so I'm just going up and going back to numpad 1, the front view, to just see how our house is looking. This already looks like a little basic house. You are then able to change at the top whether you want wireframe mode, etc., or solid mode. And as you can see, the object changes depending on which mode you are in. So now I just went to the bottom and I completely changed the color. So you can go back into solid, and as you can see, it's the basic gray. But I actually prefer how the material is looking. So numpad 1 is to go into orthographic front view, and then you can just shift, select, and grab all the vertices that you might need. I decided to bring it a bit down so it looks a bit more realistic. So just take the same vertices and bring it down, and you can toggle back to the material preview so we can see how the pink is looking on the house, and it's easiest to see that way. You can then right now just save your Blender file, and the name of the file usually ends with .blend. And Control R to loop cut, and then you can just slide it along the edge to cut wherever you'd like. So I'm going back and forth between solid and wireframe just to see exactly what I am doing and if it is translating to the back of the object. So like I said, Control R is to loop cut. And then you can just hold Z just to place it in line. until you have a straight line across the bottom. Number 3, side view. From then on, we were able to cut out our door. Control R and just slide it up to loop cuts around the entire object. So right now I think we're going to be focusing on making the window, making sure all the loops are in the exact places we need them. Control Z is to undo. So just use Control R to loop cuts around. Then we are just going to select the faces and create a window by deleting that window, that face. Control save to save your work. Go back into edit mode. Make sure everything looks good. And just cut right at the end. Because now we will make another window on the side of the house. just to give a bit more interest to this basic house. Control R again and slide the loop around. Select the faces. I think I'm only going to have 2 windows in this house. So go into vertex mode and select with C all the vertexes that you might need by holding C. And now we have an extra roof that we will then just bring up on the Z axis and go slightly above. And then just separate it by selection. Press A to select the entire object. You can then press Alt to select the edge and kind of move it. I'm making such a huge mistake, so I'm just going back by pressing Control Z. And that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to grab it and move it. So I'm just sliding the edge down and sliding it into each other by pressing G. And just merge all the lines together. As you can see, this one didn't merge properly. So I'm merging it by distance, making sure that there are no vertices on top of each other and that everything is all good. Just so it actually looks like a roof, and grabbing it and pulling it down on the Z axis. Now it kind of looks like a roof, that it's a little bit bigger. Okay, so now we are just going to press extrude to extrude this roof and make it just slightly more realistic and thicker. So I'm just holding Z just so I make sure that it's extruding on the Z axis, making sure it goes up to a nice thickness. Going on and off material, back and forth between the solid and the material just to see how it looks also in a wireframe mode. Then I'm just selecting the edge and sliding it into the other and merging it by distance by pressing M like we did before. So just grab the edge, slide it, press M for merging. I then decided to move the cursor on the top of the roof so we can start creating the chimney and start putting a cube on top of the roof. Scaling it on the Z axis, scaling it up. Then I'm going to the top of the chimney and making a offset or inset with the face on top. And then extruding it by pressing E down. Make sure you use the Z axis to make sure you go straight down. So now I'm just going to press Ctrl R to make some more loop cuts, just so we can kind of give the door a frame and some thickness. So I'm just trying to create a little frame, and after we're done cutting it, we'll then try to select the faces and then extrude that part out by the door frame, just so it's a bit more realistic and you can actually see. So deselect the parts that you don't want. Make sure only the parts you have selected are selected. That's correct. And just extrude that out till there's a bit of a thickness in there. It already looks a little better just by a simple, easy, basic detail. Brings so much life. You can also go to the top there and change what's called a matte cap. Basically, just allows you to see the objects in a different light. So as you can see, this is like a transparent material being put on the objects, allowing us to see like almost every single thing nicely on the screen. You can see all the objects like through each other, which is really nice. The colors look beautiful. The house is looking good. I'm just checking up on it, seeing what more we need to do. I think we should just do the frames of the window right now. but I'm gonna go back to my material mode, to the pink, and then I'm going to select actually the edges of the window, and then start extruding that out by pressing E, making sure I'm on the correct axes and making sure it's straight. And then what you can do is then scale that down after extruding it to create this like box, and then go back inside to create that window frame. You can do the same, select the edges, extrude out, and then scale it inwards, and then extrude inwards to go back. Pretty simple. It's really fun when you get the hang of it, but I encourage you to keep practicing to make all different types of things. You can press Shift A to add a new cube. I'm just adding some wooden bars in between the windows just to give it some more detail and effect, and making it like a cross. And I'm going to duplicate it and do that on the other side as well, making sure you rotate by pressing R and putting it exactly where you need it to go. And doing the same on the front window, making sure that it doesn't poke through the window frame and everything looks good and professional. I just added base also to the house and the door handle, which is really important. You can easily go down to the material at the bottom and change the color to what you would like, or by going individually on the outliner, selecting the objects, and then changing the material you use and changing that color like I am doing right now. So you can easily change the material to any color you like by clicking on the base color and then selecting anything in the color wheel. So this is how our house is looking. It's looking so beautiful. We still have a lot more to add onto this house. So I hope you stay tuned for part 4. And if you enjoy these types of videos and if you found it helpful, please stick along through this playlist. It will be a few videos, and I hope that you can join me on my journey of learning Maya and Blender. Thank you so much. I love you so much. Keep creating. I love you. Bye.